Okay, here we are back in Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel. And to start things off, we are going to have a bunch of scenes. I'm not going to be talking too much in this video, so hopefully you don't miss the sound of my voice, because it's going to be few and far between. So, first order of business is to meet the commanding structure of Erebonia, one of which including a character from Trails in the Sky, who I'm not going to spoil for those of you because the identity is a spoiler. But here we go, so brace yourselves.
Negotiations with the Republican government are complete. The possibility of an armed conflict in the Nord Highlands has been successfully averted. However, they did demand that we hand over the mercenaries responsible from the attack as part of their terms.
I suppose that's acceptable. After all, there was a shortcoming on our side that allowed that incident to occur. We should consider this a chance to place Rocksmith in our debt, especially with the trade conference on the horizon.
Yes, sir. Though it's regrettable that we were unable to catch the mastermind. There's not a doubt in my mind that he's one of the ringleaders.
Indeed. It seems we'll need to exercise greater caution from now on, if this is what they're capable. Our next concern is the upcoming summer festival. Any thoughts as to the optimal placement of the Ironbloods?
I believe their primary target will be next month's trade conference. I propose posting Lecter to the east and Millium to the west. That leaves me here to take care of the capital.
It's almost like you read my mind. Very well then. I'll leave the preparations to you.
Yes, sir. With all respect, don't be afraid of working me hard, sir. I could run these kinds of logistics in my sleep.
Ha! I am all too aware of how indebted I am to your abilities. That's why I'm leaving the summer festival in your capable hands. Perhaps you may even consider using them as a test.
Please excuse my intrusion, Your Excellency. His Excellency the Governor has arrived and wishes to speak with you.
Ah, show him in.
As you wish, sir.
Coming in. Oh, forgive my intrusion. I didn't realize you had company.
No, it's quite all right. I just finished giving my report. It's wonderful to see you again, Governor.
Likewise. I think it's been, what, 2 months since we last spoke? I'm in your debt for helping out with the security arrangements at last month's commemoration event at City Hall. I've been looking forward to thanking you in person.
Glad to have been of service. I'll be sure to pass on your thanks to everyone else involved. Anyway, if you'll excuse me.
Good work as always, Captain.
It never ceases to amaze me that a woman like that heads up the Ironbloods. Your icy maiden has the provincial armies positively scared stiff.
Competent as she is, she's not the group's primary member. But she and the rest of the Ironbloods continue to do some fine work, especially against those cunning vipers amongst the ranks of the nobility and the 4 great houses in particular.
Agreed. But we'll need to stay vigilant.
I'm pleased that you agree, Imperial Governor Karl Regnus.
The feeling's mutual. Chancellor Gilead Osborne.
Of course, and that's exactly why I intend to go with him. Next month's conference may be the West Samoria Trade Conference in name, but it's far more than that. It's the region's first international conference in modern times. so the discussions won't be limited to economic matters. Regional security and other timely issues are sure to come up.
I see. So that's why all the region's heads of state will be in attendance?
Precisely. President Rocksmith will represent the Republic of Calvert, of course. Prince Albert will be representing the Principality of Remiferia as its head of state. Crown Princess Claudia will be coming to represent Liberal in place of the Queen. And representing Crossbell State, we have Mayor Croyce and Speaker McDowell. All of them are either heads of state or their acting representatives.
Meanwhile, Erebonia is sending Chancellor Osborne as a representative of the Imperial government. But Father is the head of state, isn't he?
Indeed. And that's why I'm planning to go as well, even though I'm far from the ideal candidate. The Imperial family needs to be represented to make sure all sides are on equal terms.
You shouldn't be so harsh on yourself. But I think I understand the situation. I feel so ashamed. I shouldn't have to rely on you to educate me about simple politics like this. Recently, I feel as though all my inadequacies have been staring me in the face. I wish every day I had the intelligence and quick-wittedness you possess. And I wonder, am I truly capable of inheriting the throne from Father?
You know, Her Highness Princess Claudia of Liberal once said exactly the same thing.
She did?
As the successor to the throne of Liberal, I've heard that she agonized over whether she was fit to become queen. But eventually, she came to terms with her own inexperience and vowed that she would strive each day to overcome it. And I have no reason to believe that my talented brother cannot do the same.
Olivert, thank you. Your support means a lot to me.
That said, I do think you should spend more of your time living life the way you want to. I don't think anyone would blame you for wanting to indulge your interests once in a while.
I am how I am, I'm afraid. To be honest, I'm a little jealous of how being so open and carefree comes so naturally to you.
Well, I think it'd be less concerning for all involved if you avoided taking after me too much.
Another thing, I sometimes find myself admiring Chancellor Osborne's strong-willed nature as well.
Oh?
He was quite forceful in introducing the Imperial Transportation Act last year, despite the opposition's objections. But ever since then, I've heard the number of orbital car accidents has fallen dramatically. I can see why Father trusts him so much.
Well, I wouldn't disagree that was a fine piece of policymaking. The campaign he launched with the help of City Hall was exceptionally well executed. But on the other hand...
Honestly, don't you think it's a little early in the day to be having a stuffy political discussion?
Alphen?
Oh, have your lessons already finished for the day?
Indeed. They gave us the afternoon off to prepare for the summer festival. But come on, Cedric. You need to stop taking everything so seriously. We're 15. It's far too early for us to be worrying about politics.
Actually, I'm not sure 15 is too early, to be honest.
What you should be concerned about is being more of a man at official parties. Blushing head to toe just from a lady asking you to dance? Shameful. Totally shameful.
Oh, come on. Why do you have to bring that up again?
You know, that did wonders for his popularity. The ladies at that party were swooning left and right. He was playing their maternal instincts like a harp.
Well, I can't deny that. Even some of the men there were fawning over him, saying Cedric was more of a youthful flower than me.
Surely you're kidding, right?
That reminds me, Alphen. Have you decided on your dance partner for the upcoming garden party?
Yeah. You've always avoided dancing at official functions.
Curious, are we? Well, I do have someone in mind this time. Although whether I can get him to say yes...
Really?
My. It sounds like you aren't just blowing smoke. The Imperial Chronicle is going to have a field day when they find out.
You're really going to dance with someone? Could it be a son from one of the 4 great houses?
That's for me to know and you to discover. He is a noble, though. I'll give you that much. Oh, that reminds me. Prince Olivert? I have a proposal I'd like to discuss with you. I should open that letter from Reen that came in this morning. I'm almost afraid to think how Her Highness would have reacted if she found this. Dear Miss Schwarzer. Really, Reen? Still Miss Schwarzer? I'm your own sister. What? Reen, why?
So the one thing I want to say is that I really like Oliverd's voice. It's much better than the previous one. Not sure if you guys feel the same way, but I always thought his voice was a mismatch, and maybe the devs or the localization team agreed with me. Who knows?
Mid-July. Summer had come to Trista, and that meant it was time for us students to dust off our short-sleeved shirts. With months of experience under our belts, we finally found ourselves adjusting to the rigors of our coursework. And it was during those early days of summer, before the heat became well and truly withering, that we saw the start of a uniquely seasonal new lesson.
All right, that should be enough of a warm-up. I'm supposed to remind you that swimming classes here are meant to teach you skills relevant to military service. You know, how not to drown if you wind up in the water, how to save others from drowning, CPR, that kind of stuff. In fact, CPR is a pretty vital skill on any battlefield. Reen, Elisa, would you care to give us a demonstration? Instructor! Come on, guys, just kidding around. Point is, it's still important that you learn how to do it and that you won't hesitate to use it if the need arises. Whether that means locking lips with someone of the same sex or the opposite.
Of course. Well, it is a skill we can use to save someone's life.
After we've covered that, I'll be timing how long it takes each of you to swim the length of the pool. Will you give me a hand, Laura?
As you wish.
Fee, how about giving it all you've got this time?
Huh? Laura? What if I already did?
I don't think so. I could tell just by watching you. Don't make light of me. Your earlier time was certainly not the best you're capable of.
Well, it's not very polite to your opponent to hold back. This isn't like the battlefields you grew up fighting on. It's a place you can grow and better yourself by challenging others. Deep down, I know you realize that.
Good. Then let us begin.
Looking at them like this, it's obvious how different their builds are.
If build were all that mattered, we would have turned in faster times than either of them.
I imagine the difference lies in their control of their bodies.
Ready? Go!
What?
Incredible!
Whoa!
Which of them was first?
It was too close to call.
No, there was a tiny difference. Laura came out ahead on this one.
Oh, I wish I could have joined in.
Well done.
The same to you. You can do this when you want to, and yet you consistently hold back. Why?
No reason, really? Too much effort, I guess.
It seems we truly could not find a middle ground.
And thus concludes the little fan service odyssey. In case you're wondering, the swimsuits are unlockable. I'm not sure how exactly you do that, if it's New Game Plus or if it's something that comes later on. But in case you wanted to see more, you can have them fight in battles wearing those. Certain scenes, they will not have those. You'll see the whole costume aspect come into play in a moment when I get the winter uniform.
Retiring for the day, Schwarzer?
It's not very becoming of a gentleman to go around broadcasting a lady's secrets, you know.
Instructor Valentine.
I totally understand where you're coming from. You meet a beautiful, captivating lady and you want to know more. But don't let hard-headed officer types like our friend here rub off on you too much. Got it? You always play by the rules, and you'll find yourself in a jam someday when you encounter people who don't.
You're one to talk. I hardly think a capricious instructor who leaves everything to chance is capable of guiding our cadets to greatness.
Well, of course I couldn't do a better job than the ace of the 4th Armored Division. Or was that the Provincial Army? I mean, you've got the whole tradition and status are everything mindset down packed.
Who do we have here? Well, if it isn't Instructor Sarah and Instructor Neidhart.
Uh-oh.
And young Reen is with you too? Simply marvelous. It looks like you're having a downright jolly time. Would you mind if I joined you?
I'm not sure that would be...
Actually, I was just leaving. Come along, Reen. We need to hurry back to the dorms now.
Oh, but while we're all together like this, what say we have a few drinks together and enjoy some quality faculty bonding time? I heard the two of you really know how to hold your liquor.
I'm afraid I really must...
I've actually just been hit with the overwhelming urge to drink alone in my room tonight.
Now, there's no need to be shy. We're all friends here. Oh, I know. Why don't you come along with us, Reen? We can't float a beer your way quite yet, but I'd be happy to treat you to something else.
No, Reen, wait! What kind of heartless monster are you? Get back here, Reen Schwarzer!
Well, shall we be off?
I couldn't possibly. I need to depart early tomorrow morning, so I really must insist.
So in case you're wondering why I changed my setup and saved beforehand, it was for this very fight. So our conditions, Alan has to deliver the finishing blow, and Alan can't get knocked out. Now if you notice, he has no EP. So as a result, I can't rely on him for any casting purposes. He can supply crafts, he can just basic attack. It's just, I can't really do anything too fancy. So, Combat Shell Gamma, you can see level 33. In case you're wondering, this is the only time we'll be fighting this during the chapter. The practical test will be something a little bit different. So right here I'm checking out his moves, not really impressed.
Yep.
And you can see his damage leaves a few things to be desired.
There!
So I was kind of hoping I could use Autumn Leaf Cutter to deny it a bunch of turns. You can see it wasn't really that effective. Would be nice if a couple of counterattacks went off, but yeah.
My turn!
So I'm switching over to spells on Reen to see if this is a little bit more effective. And you can see that it kind of is. Would be nice if I could attack during the feint for the critical damage, and...
My turn!
Well, I can't link to him in case you didn't notice because he doesn't have an Arcus. So even if I did get a crit or something on him, it really doesn't matter. It's sad but true.
Alright,
so I'm trying to motivate here to increase his damage. Unfortunately, it's not going to help too much. If you notice, this does have a delay aspect on it, so it could potentially do something. It's just I don't think it did.
Go!
And unfortunately, you can see the thing does have AoE spells at its disposal. A bunch of small things to complicate stuff for me.
My turn!
So now that it's channeling, I have to use Autumn Leaf Cutter to impede. Managed to inflict speed down, which is pretty damn helpful. Sadly, you didn't really get to see a benefit from it here, but if I could have used Chrono Drive or something, then yeah, I could definitely get quite a few turns in before it gets its. So in the meantime, Tier's coming up. I don't have a Tira quartz to use, that's why I'm using Tier. I could have run to the workshop and built crafted one. It's just I didn't really think it was worthwhile. So right here I'm just trying to track the damage because like I said at the beginning, your Term of Victory requires Alan there to deliver the coup de grace.
My turn!
So I want to chip away at it with Reen and then save the last blow for Alan. You can see with his whole 400 damage, it's going to take some time.
There!
So I'm using Autumn Leaf Cutter for its delay, the fact that it does 1,000, I can spam it a bit since it's cheap. And then finally I could inflict a speed down debuff, so lots of incentive for me to use it, not a lot for me to ignore it. So right here I fire up... No, I could just use an item, I think. Yeah. So here's the end of the fight, in case you're wondering. So I heal Alan so that he doesn't go down. The monster takes a swing, and misses, and dies to the counterattack. That does fulfill the criteria, so conditions are met, and I get my bonus.
Did you get the request list? Phew. Glad to hear it. I was half asleep on my way to the academy this morning, so I wasn't totally sure if I'd put them in your mailbox or not. I take my work home all the time, but the sleep deprivation is really starting to get to me. That's right. I dropped them off on my way to the academy. Oh, it's really no problem. You're always helping us out, so it's the least I can do. Well then, good luck today.
So we're stopping here inside the cafe for the same reasons as in the previous chapter with Celine. If you give her milk every time before you go out on a trip, she'll give you a Zerum powder. So I have to give her something during the morning and then something at night before I go on my field study. So you can see where she is in the morning, I'll show you where she is at night. I believe it's the roof of the school, and you only have to do it 2 times here because there's less events. So with that, we can skip ahead.
careful, everyone.
Right! Right!
Okay, here! Here! Here!
Go!
This looks like a good spot. Ooh, this looks like a good spot.
Oh, that's a beautiful
My
looking
turn!
treasure
My
chest.
turn!
Yeah!
Is that a treasure chest?
Go!
Okay,
Go!
Let's keep up the pace.
Right!
My turn.
okay.
Here we go!
beautiful looking treasure chest.
Oh, a treasure chest!
Oh, what a nice looking treasure chest.
Right. Of course.
Okay. Here! Here! Here!
I've got this!
Oh, that's a beautiful looking treasure chest.
Off-colored chest, you know what that means. So, lo and behold, we have a fight here. And you can see just how
We'll have to
little
fight our way
resistance I
through.
encounter to these.
Yeah!
So I go ahead and queue up a volcanic rain. If you notice, they are weak to fire. So this can definitely do a number on them. It's just Green and Laura are forces to be reckoned with. And you'll see what I mean in a second here once I actually use these crafts. So right here I'm trying to line them up like an X strike. Green goes from right to left while Laura's going to go left to right. And the guys in the front are going to get shredded. For Elliot, I'm using the blue lullaby because that will make anything else better for him to do. I have him configured more for healing rather than offensive casting. Emma is my offensive caster. But just like that, the one died, so the volcanic rain moves. It still hits a lot of them, as you can see, and loads of damage. You can see that they are both barely within range for Autumn Wind Cutter, which I'm happy to oblige.
An opening.
And just like that, we're done.
Your swordsmanship
We even got the
gets better
2.2
every
modifier.
battle.
And I've got a way to go to get to your level.
You can see the payout.
All right!
And then we also have the item afterwards, which is an accessory, I believe. So Evergreen is like the green pendulum, except a little bit better. As a result, I'm going to be swapping that out. You can see that it has all those stats with it, accuracy, evasion, etc. And as a result, that's why I go ahead and equip it. Now, in case you're wondering why some of the accessories in my inventory are rather basic and still have that new tag, I got the silver earrings and the cool necklace from fishing. Some of the fish I pulled up, coughed those out. That's why I have those now. At this point of the game, they're not worth buying because you have superior options from the pendulums and other things. So if you happen to get them from fishing, worst come to worst, you can always sell them for just more cash. Always comes in handy. I just realized I didn't have anything equipped on Elliot up until now, which is why he was a little bit lackluster, but we can remedy that and continue on our way.
made it through.
Is it just me, or does their whole pulsating chest look wrong to anyone else?
Watch out, this is a tough one.
And Reen is misleading you there. It's annoying, but not too tough. So I'm starting things off with the detector so that I can try to get some link attacks going. Unfortunately, when you look, only one type will actually set up the link. The good news is they're really weak to time, which is something that I have an abundance of. So when the time comes, I will definitely be having my fun with that. Sadly, I don't think I ever get them close enough to actually hit them with more than one AoE spell at a time. In case you're wondering, these guys are pretty immobile, and I imagine normally they would be a bit of an issue, but due to all the new material farming I did in the previous chapter, my guys are actually on the level they're supposed to be, no longer fighting with a resource disadvantage. And you'll see that definitely shows here.
Right. Shatter!
So right here I have a crit turn, that's why I'm able to get the link attack. Also helps that... where to start? So if you notice, these things do have sky-high defense. The only one who can really hurt them is Laura because she has insane amounts of strength. I'm not entirely sure if she's higher than Gaius, but it's definitely between her and him for the single heaviest hitter on the team. I think she does have the edge. So right here I'm just desperately trying to find a spell that will work. I'm starting to realize, okay, they're not going to group together, so
Keep it up, everyone!
Can't rely on AoE, I just have to pick them off one at a time. You can see that I was just barely within range for the resounding beat to work on everyone, which puts me in an even better position.
There!
One on Leaf Cutter, I can then move to the enemy's backside. So even though that did 0, I'm now in a far enough position where I don't have to worry about the AoE from their attacks. In the event I actually could damage them, I'm now in a position to use linear attacks with Reen. But ultimately I'm just going to have him use Soul Lore. Since they're weak to time and he can't hurt them with his physical attacks, that's pretty much my only course of action left.
Here we go!
So you'll see what I mean right here when I try Arc Slash. 1 and 0.
Okay.
Pretty much that's the game saying, hope you have some time spells equipped, otherwise you're not getting through this fight. Right here I'm just checking to make sure that that's Mirage Element, that's effective on them. You can see that it's neutral. 100 means they'll take 100% of the damage. 150 means they take 150%. And the Soul Blur is pretty damaging. So, yeah. With Emma's damage combined with Reen's, you can see that I can easily do 4,000 damage a turn. The only drawback is sooner or later Emma is going to run out of juice, and she'll run out before Reen because she's using a more expensive spell. So if you add in Elliot's damage, plus Laura, I can probably do 6,000 a round.
It's my turn.
But the really nice thing with Reen is that due to the high amount of speed he has, he can get a lot of turns in. Soul Blur also has a very, very short cast time, so that's not going to handicap me in any way. And you can see right here that goes off next. I get a turn after this, and the first one is down. And pretty much at this point, if you're in good shape, the battle is won, because by killing that, they lose a third of their DPS. And then you can just move on to the next target and just a little bit rapid fire. In case you're wondering what the resist is, that's Death Blow. I don't believe I have any stats effects equipped on Emma since she's casting, but... Let's see, I don't get Genbu until later on in this chapter.
turn.
She has Seiryu,
Shatter!
Green has Suzaku, and I think I still have Byakko equipped to Gaia, so yeah, that means there's nothing on Emma.
My turn.
In case you're wondering, I probably will be using Suzaku for the rest of the game. Maybe the final few bosses accepted. But it's just way too nice to not use.
Right.
Seal and Burn are just way too damn helpful. So I'm using Detector here on the off chance Laura can get some, or can unbalance the enemy and thus I get a link attack. But I don't actually think that ever happens to be. Kind of awkward, huh?
Go!
Anyway, that's pretty much all there is to this fight. Sadly, it's not the only fight that we'll be having here, but the other one isn't really that difficult either. So right there, it was fainted. If I could have hit it with Laura, it would have been a crit, unbalanced, etc. But unfortunately, Reen is the team speed team in his current form, not Laura. Fire has a 90% modifier. It only takes 90% damage, but due to the crit turn, I was hoping I could get it a little bit better. I'm trying to set it up for an overkill in case you're wondering how I get a better EXP return. I will be doing the same for the third one, but it's not going to play out as I kind of envisioned.
Here we go!
So I wanted to get it as low as possible to try to have either Emma or someone deliver the finishing blow for the overkill. It's just I still have the same old problem of not really being able to damage these guys. Sadly, due to the way spells work in this game, there isn't really a way to go easy on an enemy.
Keep it up, everyone!
I have to admit that the whole way they changed the ordnance, I'm not too crazy about, even though, like, there are some upsides, but I think there are more downsides than up. Maybe some of the later game reports will be better and actually address this, but in its current form, that's how I'm seeing it. So this is going to kill one of them. Unfortunately, it only did like double the HP damage. Like I said earlier, I think you have to deal 5 times it in order to get the overkill. But I figure, well, with only one left, it should be easy to set this up, right? Nothing can go wrong.
Here we go.
I really mean nothing.
Arcus,
in case you didn't pick that up, it's gonna go wrong.
Here we go.
So I'm using Firebolt here because 0 arts plus the crit because of the faint effect.
Shatter!
Armor Breaker's only going to do 1 damage, even though it is a crit. Another 1 damage crit.
Here we go!
And I realized the only way I'm going to be able to lower this is I have to get close enough with Reen to use Motivate on Laura to weaken him enough to pick him off with a spell. Thus, I'm moving Reen into position to do that. I pop Motivate.
Right,
and if you notice the corner of your screen, you may have guessed what's going to happen.
Okay.
So I want Emma to deliver the finishing blow. I figure let's just have Elliot whack him. What's the worst that can happen? And the answer is that. So if you're not aware, Elliot and Emma's basic attacks actually apply magic damage and thus bypass the thing's sky-high defense.
We did it!
Not something I took into account, and I believe the strength up that I gave him for Motivate also came into play, further sealing the deal. And we're through. So we get those EP2s.
Just getting started.
In my opinion, the EPs are really, really bad in this game because they don't give you the additional spells like they did in Sky. As a result, you probably will not see me using them, but maybe a later version has something going for it. We'll see. Anyway, we'll pick up in the next fight.
Who is that girl?
Isn't that uniform...
What? Is that your sister?
Look deep in your heart and you'll find your answer. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. I'm Elise, Reen's sister. I apologize for cutting in, but would it be possible for me to borrow him for a while? Yeah. The last time I saw you was when I came back to Ymir at the end of last year. But I always thought we'd have a chance to meet up after you enrolled here. That's entirely beside the point. Heimdall is just 30 minutes from Trista by train. Add 20 more minutes travel time to get from Central Station to my school. But I suppose you're so tied up that even 50 minutes is too much time to spare for a little visit. Yes? I was never distant. Maybe it seemed that way because, well, it's kind of a personal thing. I'd rather not talk about it. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that I've never thought of you as a bother, ever. And I swear on Adios's name that I never will. Really? I'm glad to hear it. After growing up together, you're the last person I'd want to feel distant from. Well, our lack of communication has definitely been on my mind. But that's not the main reason I came here today. Do you really not know why I came? You did? Wait, no, that's not why I came either. The issue here is the final part of your letter. What did you mean by, even if I don't, though, I doubt I'll be coming back home to live? Or by wanting to repay Mother and Father? You make it sound as though you intend to sever ties with them. You can't honestly be thinking that you're going to quietly bow out of succeeding Father as head of the family. Are you, Reen? That doesn't even make sense! You might not be related to us by blood, but you're still Father's only son. And the right of adopted children to succeed their family name is recognized under Imperial law. Oh. don't get it. You don't get it at all. You don't understand how Father feels. You don't understand how Mother feels. And you don't understand how I feel. You're the worst! Why do you always have to be so stubborn? I hate you! I hate you!
Yo, Reen, what's up?
Don't you dare start acting like you're above me, Reem Schwarzer. Just because Ymir's lord took you in out of pity doesn't change the fact that you're a nobody without a drop of noble blood.
He's the worst. Why does he never think about what would make him happy? I'm such an idiot. Why can't I just be more honest with him? And with myself? Huh? Where am I?
Oh, who might you be? That's the uniform of Heimdall's St. Estraya Girls' School, if I'm not mistaken. What brings a lady like yourself all the way out here?
I'm sorry,
No, I apologize. I wasn't accusing you of anything. Wait, right, I should introduce myself first. My name is Patrick. Patrick Higharms. I'm sure you've heard the name before.
Higharms? It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Elise Schwarzer, daughter of Baron Schwarzer.
Ah, Elise. Such a lovely sounding name. Wait a second. Schwarzer? As in Reem Schwarzer? Are you his sister?
Yes? Reen is my older brother.
Why does she have to be related to that cretin? But wait, he was adopted. That means they aren't related by blood.
It seems you're not on the best of terms with my brother. I don't wish to cause you any unpleasantness, so I'll just excuse myself.
No, you aren't. I mean... Wait! That way!
Come on. I'll show you where I saw her.
What the hell is that? A giant suit of armor?
Elise!
What the?
So Reen has gone inverse Super Saiyan, and it's time to deal with the boss. So if you look at his stats, he's a lot stronger than he was a second ago. So testing out the physical attack, you can see that's pretty impressive, but the guy has a ton of hit points.
Now.
On leaf cutting, about the same. Luckily I inflicted some burn. Right there he muted me, which is really annoying.
Now.
But it seems like the best way to take him down would probably be to use the bonus stats effect if you can. I think I only get to apply it twice in the entire fight, and after a certain point I do just fall back and spam Soul Blur since has a 175 modifier. It takes 75% bonus damage from his spells. See, those hurt like the burn does.
Now.
And like usual, due to Reen's Speed Demon status, I can just throw these out like no tomorrow. Soul Blur is pretty much still just as broken as it used to be in Sky. As far as I know, this thing has no way to impede you, so you're free to unleash the Soul Blur to your heart's content.
Now.
In case you're wondering why that one did 960, it's because this is a scripted fight and we're going into the second phase of the fight.
What's happening?
Is he trying to suppress his power?
No, I'm not going to be swallowed by it anymore. What?
You're not thinking of leaving me out of the action, are you? Take care of the girl, Catastrophe.
Don't call me that either!
Thanks. I owe you one.
No problem. Let's fire up those combat links.
And here's the second half of the fight.
Come at me!
So if you notice, we don't have the
My turn.
awakened ability going, but we do have links at our disposal. So here's when I finally decided to go ahead and use a scope on the thing so we can see its stats.
Here!
You can read all about it there.
Here we go! Arcus!
And I'm going right back to where we started with all the soul blurs.
Here we go!
Now you may have noticed there is a bit of a damage fall off.
My turn.
Luckily the guy is still back to his half health marker. He didn't get a new set of health between the first half and the second half. And if you notice, everything on Crow is time limited, other than his healing spells here. He does have Analyze, so I could have used that instead of the Battle Scope. It's just I didn't.
Go!
And like usual, my strategy involves heavily abusing Soul Blur. I do have Crow's healing spells in case I get hit too hard.
My turn!
If you notice in the turn gauge there aren't any bonuses listed, I don't know if it's intended to be that way or if it was just some sort of lucky or unlucky roll I got. But nonetheless, here's Crow's spell. You can see it does double the damage of Soul Blur and it costs 6 times as much. I will not be relying on that.
Here we go!
Plus it also takes longer to cast too, I forgot to point out. But at this point I have to pretty much turn Crow towards healing. Green is getting kind of worked over.
Here!
Once again, I am going to try to go for the overkill bonus.
Here we go!
I don't remember if this one pays off or not. Well, we'll see in a minute or so. So slow and steady, chip away at the thing, and sooner or later... And the more spammable your spells are, the faster you can do this.
Arcus activate.
So I didn't use Soul Blur on Crow because I didn't know how much it was going to do. At this stage, he's on Death's Door, he being the enemy, so I have to be very precise with my attacks and what that overkill bonus.
Go!
And I stick with Soul Blur because I can't predict how much the fire spell is going to do. And that kind of sucks, huh? He healed himself, he has a strength and defense bonus.
Go!
And if I use Soul Blur, it will just insta-kill him. I won't be able to get my overkill bonus. So I'm using Autumn Leaf Cutter in the hopes of dealing some damage. You can see it's not enough.
Leave it to me.
So I have to just end the fight.
Yeah, you're done. Raven! See ya!
Might anyone else have the Hellzone Grenade? But yeah, I did overkill. Let's see, he had about 1,000 left, and that was 6,000, so that does fall within the 5,000.
See? I don't slack off
5
all the
times
time.
more requirement that I think is for overkill. But anyway, 1.2 bonus, I got my Adamantine Shield. And we have some more scenes.
Damn. I thought I'd finished my crash course in craziness half a year ago.
Thanks, Crow. So you can use Arcus too?
Yeah, I was part of the trial program for Class 7. That's how I met Toa, George, and Jellica.
I see.
Reen.
Elise! Are you alright? You're not hurt, are you?
I'm fine. I just lost my balance when that tremor hit earlier. But thank you for protecting me. Just like you did back then. No, this time was different, wasn't it?
Yeah. I pulled through. Somehow.
I'm glad.
Oh.
Here comes the cleanup crew.
Reen, are you alright?
Is your sister... Oh, good. It looks like she's okay.
What happened here? A giant suit of armor?
It looks like something imbued with the magic of the Dark Ages.
I can't begin to imagine what must have transpired here.
Well, a tough fight did, at least.
You're all here.
Good grief.
I'm so relieved you were able to find your sister and that everyone's okay.
She's even more of a beauty than I'd imagined.
Oh, I'd love to get some hands-on time with that door in this suit of armor.
I swear, it's almost comforting how you guys never change. But hey, what took you, Instructor?
Sorry about that. Still, it looks like you guys managed to handle things just fine without me. I take it this big lug came from inside that door?
Yes, I was just looking at it when suddenly...
Hold on. Let's just give our report starting from the top.
Good evening, I'm your host, Misty. You're listening to Radio Trista. It's July 18th and things are finally cooling down now at 9 p.m. So pour yourself a cold drink and let's roll right into tonight's Aubin time, shall we? It's just over over a week until Heimdall kicks off its summer festival, a month after the rest of the country. I'm sure plenty of you out there might be thinking of the concert in the Heimdall Opera House or the summer races. But the festival is best known for its opening day events, traditionally attended by members of the Imperial family. This year, Crown Prince Cedric will be making an appearance at the ceremony in Heimdall Cathedral. And his sister, Princess Alphen, will be attending a posh garden party sponsored by Heimdall City Hall. I would have loved to see the Empire's two greatest treasures in person, but alas, I can't get away from work that day. But don't you worry, I'm still planning on winning my bets on the summer races. I'll let you know how I do. If you're not old enough to place a bet, don't worry, you'll be able to make questionable financial decisions soon enough. Moving along, I'm sure by now many of you have heard about the ongoing construction of the giant building in Crossbell State. It's supposed to be even taller than the Rhineford building in Ruhr, making it the continent's first true skyscraper. The latest reports say that construction is almost complete and that it'll be unveiled at next month's trade conference. A lot of you have been writing in about it, so I'll be sure to keep you posted with all the latest.
And with that, we're done for now. So until next time, I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.